Thanks for joining. This is the third part of a series on the Biden mandate turnkey solution for compliance. The first part of the series, we talked about the different components, 6 components of a successful, effective turnkey solution for the Biden mandate for employers. The second one, we talked about a key component of the solution, which is vaccine verification. And this third part of the series is we're going to talk about the testing requirement for those that are not vaccinated. When it comes to testing, all testing is not created equal. As you know, with COVID, there's PCR testing, there's other types of molecular testing, and then there's antigen testing. PCR is the gold standard. Other types of molecular testing are the next best as far as sensitivity. And then finally, antigen testing. So even though antigen testing is the least sensitive, it's also the least expensive. So most employers are attracted to antigen testing because they're much less expensive than PCR or molecular testing. And they can also quite often be self-administered. So they have a lot of advantages for employers. They can be self-administered by the employee, and they're inexpensive. The downfall is they're not as sensitive. And this is significant, though, and something to keep in mind, because the sensitivity in real life can be as low as 50 to 70%. Now, the antigen testing companies, manufacturers say, hey, it has 85 or 80% sensitivity. That's only under certain circumstances, typically when someone has been symptomatic and it's been within a few days of their having symptoms. Keep in mind that you're going to be testing employees that are typically asymptomatic. If they're symptomatic, then they're going to get a symptomatic diagnostic COVID test. They're not going to be doing surveillance testing, which is part of the Biden mandate. So with all that in mind and understanding that it's not as sensitive, there are other options, molecular and PCR testing, but the least expensive is antigen testing. And again, you can do self-administered testing at home. And that brings us to the next point. If you are going to do self-administered antigen testing, then you can have it done at home. The employees can actually take it home, or it can be shipped to their home, and they can do the test right there, or they can be done in the office, but that occupies space and so forth. And it can still be done self-administered, or it could be done by a healthcare professional that's collecting the swab and doing the test. If it's done at home, it's preferable that it's connected to an app that will allow the employees to upload the results through a smartphone. And then on the other end, they can be verified for their authenticity of being positive or negative, which can be important because you may not want to rely on self-reported data from an employee. Furthermore, if you're doing testing at home, you need to have some type of system in place to manage positives. What if one of those tests comes back positive? There needs to be a system in place to instruct them what to do next, how to manage that positive. Telehealth is very desirable in this situation, so they can just call up a nurse and be able to talk to that nurse and get instructions on how to quarantine, et cetera. And finally, if you're going to be doing this type of testing, reporting is very key. Having a dashboard for employers where they can look and see who's been compliant, who's non-compliant, how many positives there have been, who hasn't been doing the testing is also a big benefit to the employer. I hope this was helpful. And this finishes our series on the Biden mandate turnkey solution for compliance. Thank you.